Good afternoon, all the students. I have just introduced you to some event called as quizzes, right? In through message in WhatsApp. So I just wanted to orient about that. I'll do it at the end of the class because other students are still joining. Let me start the class meanwhile. Yeah. Can you see this presentation?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let's move on to this seventh lecture under module 1. In the last class, we have seen what is a version space and its representation, and how we can understand a list then eliminate algorithm as the basic algorithm which moves towards this candidate elimination algorithm. And more compact representation of version spaces also we have covered, right? So what is this list then eliminate algorithm? Whenever a machine is given with training examples, then it will start with all possible hypotheses. Means whichever hypothesis applies to whichever training example, all such hypotheses are taken in the hypothesis space, and even different other combinations are also taken. Every possible attribute value, one hypothesis will be written. Okay, now from that hypothesis, whenever a training example is not found to cover that hypothesis, means if a training example, if a hypothesis is not consistent with the training example, then immediately the training example is eliminated. Okay, so we are listing out initially all the hypotheses possible, and whenever a training example is found to be inconsistent with the hypothesis, then we are removing that hypothesis, so that we are ending up with limited number of hypotheses, right? That is the basic idea of list then eliminate algorithm. Now we have used VS as symbol for version space, and we are also using the suffixes H and D. Now I told you how to read this, right? This symbol, if it has to be read, how do you read it? Can anybody read this notation? Version space of hypothesis which contains with respect to all the hypothesis that is consistent with the training examples. I'm repeating again, version space which consists of all the hypothesis H that are consistent with the training examples D. Okay, this is called as version space. Now let us just go through some important definitions under this version space so that we can proceed with understanding candidate elimination learning algorithm, and with an example also, so that we can better understand that particular algorithm, how exactly it is working. Okay, so now we are going to learn about this CL algorithm. Now, what do we mean by compact representation of version space? Initially, and we have understood that a version space is collection of hypotheses that are consistent with the training examples. Means all the hypotheses in your version space will apply to any one of the training examples compulsorily. If it doesn't cover any training example, then it is not a valid hypothesis to be in the version space. Okay, say if I give you a day's data, day one's data as sunny, wind and strong, sunny, windy and strong, like this. Okay, this is one training example. Now you found a hypothesis which is not according to this particular training example, then you have to remove it. But remember, while removing, you should see that it doesn't cover any of the other training examples encountered so far, that is covered so far by the machine. Okay, so all the training examples it has covered, it has some hypothesis. Now if that hypothesis doesn't apply to this data, no problem. But if a hypothesis doesn't apply to any of the previous examples and this example also, then you have to remove it from the version space. Okay, so finally your version space will contain all the hypotheses which are consistent with the training examples, which are applicable with the training examples data provided. Okay, so this is the more general representation and this is the more specific representation. G is called as the general boundary and S is called as the specific boundary of the hypothesis. Now, in this general boundary, we came across some hypotheses here. I'll tell you how exactly we got this general and specific boundaries while tracing this candidate elimination algorithm. But in this case, let us just understand what are the boundaries. Now this G is called as the general boundary of the version space and S is called as the specific boundary of the version space. Means no other hypothesis is more general than this hypothesis and no other hypothesis is more specific than this hypothesis. Right? That is what we mean by boundary set, boundary hypothesis set. Now if you take this intermediate level, you have some three hypotheses, right? This is called as H. Now observe these arrows. These arrows indicate that G is more general than H. You know this notation, right? G is more general than H. Now, if you take this upper part, see the arrows again. In that case, we say H is more general than S. Because H doesn't have more rules as much as S has, right? That is why H is more general than S. So the direction, did you observe? You're going from more general hypothesis to more specific hypothesis. Means the hypothesis which has lesser constraints to the hypothesis which has more constraints. If more number of question marks are there, it can accept any kind of data for that particular attribute. But if it has lesser question marks and more text, then we have to understand that hypothesis doesn't allow anything other than sunny, doesn't allow anything other than warm, like that. Okay, so this is going from general to specific ordering, right? Now in this version space, it is compact representation of the hypothesis, of all the hypotheses. It contains a general boundary and a specific boundary. The general boundary is this, having more general values for the attributes, and the specific boundary has more specific categories for the attributes. Means it has to be very specific, that day should be sunny, or the cloud humidity, it should be warm, like that. It has some specific requirements. That particular hypothesis has some specific requirements. How did it learn? Only by going through the training examples, observing each and every training example. Okay, now these intermediate hypotheses are more general, more specific than the general hypothesis and less specific than the specific hypothesis boundary. I'm repeating again, this intermediate level H is less general than G boundary set and more general than S specific boundary set. Okay. Now those definitions are given here. These are very important. They may be asked in exams also. What are the formal definitions for general and specific boundaries? See, if you, I'm reading this yesterday's class also, I have emphasized more on this. Why? Because this mathematical notation has to be read. This entire text has to be read in a normal language. You should be able to read it. If you just present it, how do you define? So definition is nothing but reading this more clearly. Okay, I'll try to read that now. The general boundary G is represented as every hypothesis that is general, that belongs to the hypothesis space H, such that all these general hypotheses should be consistent with the training examples D, and how should the hypothesis in this G should be? There should not exist any general hypothesis that belongs to H such that that G dash is more general than existing hypothesis in the general boundary set. And while that is being consistent with D, means that G dash. Now, whenever, I'll make it more clear for you. Let us take the set of this boundary hypothesis having only G. Okay. Now, you should not have any other general hypothesis G dash. This is what we mean for that. There should not exist G dash that belongs to the hypothesis space H, which is more general than G, and that is G dash. I'll read it the other way. You should not have any other general hypothesis that belongs to hypothesis space H, which is consistent with D, that is more general than G. I'm repeating again. Whenever you take a general boundary set having a hypothesis G, consider. Now, not only one, it may have more general hypothesis, but what is the condition? There should not exist any other hypothesis G dash which is consistent with the training examples and at the same time more general than G. If at all it exists, this G is not a boundary set. It is just a hypothesis set. Got it? Again, I'm repeating because it is little confusing to understand for the students listening for the first time. G, the general boundary set, is defined as collection of all the general hypothesis G that belongs to the hypothesis space H such that all G is consistent with D. And further, what is the condition? There should not exist any other general hypothesis that belongs to the hypothesis space H which is consistent with D, that is more general than this set of general hypothesis in G. Only then we call that G as general boundary set. If there exists a G dash which is more general than G, then it is no longer a boundary set. It is just set of hypotheses, that's all. It doesn't make a boundary set. Got it? Now same definition for specific boundary also, the other way. Simply placing all the opposite terms in the definition will give you the definition of specific boundary S. Let us read it. The specific boundary S with respect to hypothesis space H and training data D is the set of minimally general, or see here we are using maximally general. That is why here we are using minimally general, because we are going towards the specific part of the hypothesis space, right? So minimally general, or I can use it complementarily, maximally specific. Okay, maximally specific members of H consistent with D. Now, how can you understand it in the mathematical form? It is very easy. Now, you very well understood this general boundary G representation. It is very easy for you. It's like a cakewalk for you to understand this specific boundary S definition. See this clearly. S is defined as, or the specific boundary set is defined as the set of all specific hypothesis S belonging to the hypothesis space. Whenever I say belonging to the hypothesis space, it contains all valid hypotheses, remember. But from that, you are taking whichever applies to your training set. Okay. So this specific boundary set S is defined as the set of all specific hypotheses that belongs to the hypothesis space such that, this is the general condition, S is consistent with D. And what is our next part? There should not exist any other specific hypothesis that belongs to H and consistent with D, which is more specific than S. Right? In that case, it is called as boundary set. Observe this. There should not be any specific hypothesis S dash which is more specific than S. Read it the other way. S should not be more general than S dash. Means S should not be inferior to S dash. If you take S as the specific boundary and G as the general boundary, these are the boundaries. Now there should not be any other S dash such that S is more general than S dash, or S dash is more specific than S. Okay, S should not be inferior to S dash in being specific. Okay, that is called as the general specific boundary. So this S dash always should be inside only, inside the boundary, right? Only then this is called as the specific boundary set. G should contain all the general hypotheses and no other general hypothesis should be more general than this hypothesis. Now, on the other side, S should contain all the specific hypotheses and no other specific hypothesis should be more specific than this. That is the boundary on the other side. Got it? These definitions are very much essential for us to understand candidate elimination algorithm. Now let us, before that, let me show you the VS representation theorem also. This version space representation theorem will cover all the notations we have seen so far. Let X be an arbitrary set of instances and let H be a set of Boolean valued hypotheses defined over X, right? Let C be the concept such that each training instance is mapped to either 0 or 1, means yes or no, because it is a classification problem. Be an arbitrary target concept defined over the set of instances X, which is learned from D, training examples, and let D be an arbitrary set of training examples, X, which is a combination of all the attributes, and C of X, which is the label yes or no. Now, for all X, hypothesis space H, concept C, set of training examples D, such that S, the specific boundary, and G are well defined. The general boundary are well defined. Okay. Now, this version space H D means this version space set, it is like a set. This set of hypothesis H, which is consistent with the training examples D, how is it defined? Set of all hypothesis H that is belonging to the valid hypothesis space such that there exists a specific hypothesis that belongs to specific boundary. There exists a general hypothesis that belongs to the general boundary such that, what is the condition? This is important. G should be more general than H. H should be more general than S. Means G lies here. That is why we got the arrows like this. H lies here. Again, we got the arrows like this, and S lies here. Okay. So this is more general and this is more general. Right? This is how we understand this version space. Now, because you understood about this space even better than yesterday, you feel like it is familiar concept to you now, right? That is important for candidate elimination algorithm. Okay. Now let us proceed. Again, this is very simple. The initial steps are like find us algorithm only. You need not even put more effort to understand that. It is very easy. The candidate elimination algorithm computes the version space. The duty of candidate elimination algorithm is to compute the version space. Whenever I say version space, you should immediately remember that it contains a general boundary set and it contains a specific boundary set. Okay, so this algorithm computes the version space containing all hypotheses from the valid hypothesis space H that are consistent with an observed sequence of training examples, right? That is why we are writing it as VS H, D. Version space is a set of hypotheses consistent with the training examples. D means it should explain all the training examples given in D because it has learned from those training examples. Okay, now how to begin with, how candidate elimination algorithm begins. After this class also, if you have still doubt about this candidate elimination algorithm, you can go to YouTube and click videos on candidate elimination algorithm. Very nice videos clearly explaining this process is given. Means if you want extra inputs on this, because we can't spend each and every class discussing only about this algorithm. If at all you want to understand it more clearly, you can browse for the YouTube videos on candidate elimination algorithm examples. You will get beautiful videos. Okay, before that, let's understand the basic flow of the steps in this algorithm. It begins by initializing the G boundary set to contain the most general hypothesis in H. What is the most general hypothesis? Your friend will enjoy the water sport, whatever is the weather condition. So the most general hypothesis is all question marks. For all the 6 attributes, he is not specific about the day's climatic condition. He will enjoy the sport on any day, on any day given the climatic conditions. Means I doubt that that boy doesn't want to sit at home to study or something. He wants to escape. That's why he is very comfortable with any type of climatic condition given, right? So what is the next step in this? Also initialize, not next step, but simultaneous step. You have to do these 2 steps as first step itself. Okay, so the next simultaneous step is initialize the S boundary set. We have initialized the G boundary set with the most general hypothesis and the S boundary set to contain the most specific hypothesis. Means you know that this boy doesn't enjoy the water sport whatever is the weather condition given. Means he wants to basically sit at home. That is why he is giving lame excuses that it is windy, it is sunny, warm, water is cool, water is warm. Like that, he is giving different conditions. He is not comfortable with any of the climatic condition. Okay, so you are taking the specific boundary set as all pi. Okay, this is the most specific hypothesis, or the other way, the least general hypothesis. We say it as most specific hypothesis or least general hypothesis. Okay. Now, as such training example is, as each training example is considered, the S and G boundary sets are generalized and specialized respectively. Understand this? As the training examples are considered, S is generalized and G is specialized. What will happen? G will be on this side and it moves towards more specific hypothesis. So I can read it like this: G is specialized. G is trying to be specialized. This is H. The bottom part of this version space is G, boundary set. Okay, now it goes towards more specific hypothesis, and this more specific hypothesis will go to the maximally specific hypothesis S. Got it? So you're in this whenever the machine encounters the training examples, goes through each of the training examples, G will be more specialized, going towards this direction, and S will be more generalized, coming towards this direction. And finally, after it covered all the training examples, the output will be, the output of this candidate elimination algorithm will be the briefest version space where S and G tend to come together. Means there will not be any other intermediate hypothesis, or least number of intermediate hypotheses will be there. This space between S and G will start shrinking. It will become lenient and thinner and thinner. Okay, that is called as the candidate elimination algorithm evolving into a version space with most generic hypothesis possible, right? Now, after all examples have been processed, what will happen? After all examples are gone through by the machine, what will happen? The computed version space contains all the hypotheses consistent with these training examples. It will not contain unnecessary hypothesis, which is not according to the training examples. Okay, that is what we that is the objective of this candidate elimination algorithm. Now let us see the algorithm steps once in the first instance. Now understand with an illustrative example and come back to this algorithm once again so that we'll understand it more better after that. Now let us start with these first two steps, simultaneous steps. Initialize G to the set of maximally general hypotheses. Now tell me, can you make any hypothesis more general than this? Not possible, right? So it is maximally general hypothesis. Now, again, can you make a more specific hypothesis more specific than this? Can you make a hypothesis more specific than this? No. So it is called as maximally specific hypothesis. So do not get scared with the terms being used, maximally, minimally. There is nothing magic in this. It is actually common English that they are referring to. More maximally general hypothesis means more general than this, you can't make any hypothesis. That is why it is called as maximally general hypothesis. You can't make more specific hypothesis than this. That is why it is called as maximally specific hypothesis. That's all. Very simple it is. Now come to the next step. For each training example D, understand this carefully, it is quite easy. For each training example D means whenever the machine goes through the day's examples, D1 day, these are the climatic conditions. Day 2, these are the climatic conditions, right? So when the machine comes across all these training examples, what will happen? Let us see. For each training example D, do what has to be done? There are two conditions again. If D is a positive example, if D is a negative example, means if the outcome label is S, your friend is enjoying the sport. If the outcome label is no, your friend is not enjoying the sport. What has to be done? There are some set of rules that have, there are some set of instructions that have to be followed by this candidate elimination algorithm. Now let us see. If the target label is S, then what has to be done? Remove from this general boundary set any hypothesis inconsistent with D. I'll explain you when we are going through an example. Remove from G any hypothesis inconsistent with D. You come across a training example and you found a hypothesis inconsistent with the training example, remove it from G. Next, for each hypothesis S in S that is not consistent with D, what you have to do? Remove S from S. Remove that specific hypothesis from S. Add to S all minimal generalizations H of S such that H is consistent with D and some member of G is more general than H. Do not worry, every part will be explained in your example. Okay. Now remove from S any hypothesis that is more general than another hypothesis in S. Now, if you have any general hypothesis in S, S should not actually have that, right? So remove it from that specific boundary set. Means what it is trying to tell is, if there are any general hypothesis in specific boundary set, remove them. If there are any specific hypothesis in the general boundary set, remove them. Okay. Now, if D is a negative example, remove from S, same, what all steps we have done, the opposite will be doing here. If D is a negative example, remove from S any hypothesis inconsistent with D. Just listen. Don't worry of understanding it. I'll show you the example. For each hypothesis G in G that is not consistent with D, remove it from the general hypothesis. Add G all minimal specializations H of G such that H is consistent with D and some member of S is more specific than H. Now remove from G any hypothesis that is less general than another hypothesis in G. Okay, so what if I want to paraphrase it in a single sentence, what we are doing is, in specific boundary set you don't want any general hypothesis, in general boundary set you don't want any specific hypothesis, right? Now let us go to the example. Now let us take the same example of 4 days data given, and the machine tries to learn from this how on what days your friend will enjoy the water sport. Now given an arbitrary day or a new day's data, it should be able to predict whether your friend will enjoy the sport or not. For this, we are applying candidate elimination algorithm in order to find the version space set of all hypotheses that are consistent with these training examples given in this training set 1 to 4. Okay. Now, focus carefully. You will understand it very easily. Initially, what are the first 2 steps, simultaneous steps? Initialize the boundary set G with the more general hypothesis. That is what we are doing, right? G naught, it is initialized with the more general hypothesis, and S naught, it is initialized with the more specific hypothesis, right? Now, we started with these 2 only. Don't see anything related to this second and third parts. Okay, we started with the most general hypothesis and most specific hypothesis. Now, see the first training example at the bottom of this figure. What is the first training example? Sunny, warm, normal, strong, warm, and same. Right? Now, start from this side, from most specific hypothesis. Initially, all the conditions are null, means not comfortable with any of the climatic conditions. But the machine encountered a training example whose label is S and none of the attributes are matching with this null. Okay, that is why the updation of this specific boundary will be sunny, warm, normal, strong, warm, and same. All these attributes are updated. Now, in this version space, S1 is in accordance with the first training example. S1 is consistent with the first training example. Tell me. Yes. Training example, day 1 data, sunny, warm, normal, strong, warm, and same. What is your specific hypothesis now? Sunny, warm, normal, strong, warm, and same. You have updated because of coming across this first training example. The algorithm got more data now about the preferences of that boy. So it has updated its most specific hypothesis. Right? Now this is the hypothesis S1. Now what about the other side? From top towards down, you have taken the specific hypothesis which is consistent with the training example 1. What about the other side? G has to be modified. Tell me. Is your most general hypothesis consistent with 1? Is your most general hypothesis consistent with the first training example? Unless until you answer, I can't proceed forward. You have to answer me now. Yes or no? G naught is the most general hypothesis. Now, will it predict as S if this training example is given?
Yes, ma'am.
It can accept any value, right? When it is able to accept any value, even G naught will predict it as true, S label. In that case, need not make any changes on the general boundary set. Leave it as it is, because this also predicts it to be true. And this also predicts the training examples to be true. Means it is covering, they are both consistent with the training example 1. So don't make any changes. Now go to the training example 2. Observe what are given. Sunny, it is same as S1, leave it. Warm, it is same as S1, leave it. Now next is high. High means more, another example is encountered, and another example for that attribute is encountered. So you have to make your algorithm more general. Did you observe we are coming downwards towards more generality? Now this, instead of normal, we are giving it as question mark, because instead of pi we have put it as normal. Now other than normal, one more value is accepted by the training example. That is why we are just generalizing it to be question mark. It can take up any type of data. Now strong is the same, warm is the same, and same is also the same value. It didn't change with the training example S2. So what is your modified set now? S2, sunny, warm, question mark, strong, warm, and same. Now come to the other side. Do you have to make any changes in the most general hypothesis? Does it cover the training example? Tell me. Does it cover the training example too? You're with me or you're sleeping? Students, does the general hypothesis on the bottom of this version space, is it consistent with the training example too? It is consistent, right? Because
Yes, ma'am.
question mark, all are question marks. Question mark means it allows any type of combinations. So if it is given with the combinations given in training example 2 also, it is consistent with that. So leave without any changes. G1 and G2 also didn't have any changes, but S1 and S2 is modified. Did you observe? Means you have the general hypothesis covering all the training examples, but specific hypothesis is not covering the training examples. That is why we are modifying it whenever an S label is encountered. Now come to the next step, where we stopped in the previous step at G2, and in this step at S2. Right? Now take the third training example. See at the bottom of this figure, we have the third training example, third day's data. Now there is a label no. When there is a label no, what will happen? The concept will not be learned by the machine, but hypotheses have to be modified, right? Means with the help of this, you should be able to eliminate some irrelevant hypothesis. Okay, so you have to consider it while modifying your version space. Now, whenever there is a target label with no or a negative example, try modifying from the general hypothesis. Whenever there is a training example with outcome as S, you will modify from the specific boundary set. Whenever there is a training example with label no, you modify from general hypothesis and check the other side, specific hypothesis. Right? So what is your more general hypothesis so far? G2, again it is having all question marks, means no modifications have been done so far. Now because the training examples outcome label is no, what changes you have to make to the general hypothesis here? See, rainy, cold, and this last attribute have changed when compared to sunny, warm, and same. The other three things, question mark, strong, and warm, it didn't change, right? So far, this is the most specific hypothesis that is encountered in consistence with the training examples, right? In that case, observe the new training example. Sunny, there is no sunny here, okay? It has changed. Cold, it has changed. And in this case, same, it has changed. For the other things, it is left as it is. Means you have the more general hypothesis for that. So what now this general hypothesis G2 is now divided into 3 hypotheses. Actually, 6 values are allowed for the hypothesis, that is sunny, rainy, cold, high, strong, warm, and change. Each of this can be written like this: rainy and all question marks. And again, cold, question mark, cold, question mark, all question marks. Now, question mark, high, question mark, question mark, question mark. Like this, you can write. How you are writing this? By the third training example that is encountered. First, it is rainy. So you are writing a more general hypothesis only with rainy specification. Next, it is cold. So you are writing a more general hypothesis with only cold specification. Next, it is high. So you are writing only, you are writing a specific hypothesis with only high as the specification. Like this, you write how many hypotheses? 6 hypotheses. But how many hypotheses do you have here? Only 3 hypotheses. Can anybody tell me why it is? Why it is so? Now, this rainy is so far not covered by any of the training examples. So that is cancelled. Now this cold is also not covered by any of the training examples encountered so far than this third one. So this is also removed. Now there is another training example, high, which is already general and covered by S2 and S3. So this is considered. This is already considered. Leave it. Now go to the next one, strong. Strong is also covered by specific hypothesis. So you have required. So what are the 3 hypotheses left out for you? Sunny, warm, and same, which are not covered by the training examples so far. Okay, so these are taken here: sunny, warm, and same, with all other attributes as generalized attributes. Okay, this will be your general boundary set now. Now let us go to the next step. Next step is encountering the 4th training example. Now in this 4th training example, 1 second, we didn't make any change from the other side in specific hypothesis. Why? Because it is a negative example. We need not make any changes or remove any hypothesis from the specific boundary set. We are making changes only to the general boundary set. Now see here, this is our latest hypothesis, right, so far. Now from this, see the training example. Let us come from the upward direction because it is a S. Let us start from this direction. Now sunny, warm, question mark, strong, warm, and same. This is the hypothesis consistent with the training examples encountered so far. Now the 4th training example will modify S3 to S4. How? Sunny, it is not changed. Warm, it is not changed. High, it is already generalized. Strong is not changed. Warm is changed to cool. So it is replaced with question mark. And same is changed to change. So it is replaced with question mark. This is the most specific hypothesis you have modified from the specific boundary set. Now let us go from downwards. What it has to do? Now this sunny is encountered in this training example S. So you have to retain it. Now warm is encountered in this training example. Yes. So you have to retain it. Now what is the other one we removed? Same. Why did we remove it? Because this training examples forecast attribute value is change, not same. That is why that hypothesis is eliminated by the candidate elimination algorithm. Okay, so we have sunny, warm, high, strong, cool change in the fourth training example. Accordingly, we have modified the specific hypothesis, and coming to the general hypothesis, we have sunny, warm, and same before this, but because same is changed to this change, we remove that hypothesis entirely from the version space so that we have this general hypothesis, sunny, warm. So now your version space is G4 and S4 with any intermediate hypothesis if you have, because there may be other general hypothesis for a larger training set, right? Now this is the version space. This S4 and G4 will form your version space, and this contains this hypothesis and these hypotheses consistent with all the 4 days training examples given. Right? This is how the general hypothesis is made. See the general set, now you can see sunny, warm, that what we retained in the previous step. And on the other side, more specific hypothesis is sunny, warm with 3 question marks for the other attributes along with strong. Okay, now what are the intermediate hypotheses? You have combination of all this, sunny, warm, combination, sunny, strong, combination, and warm, strong combination. These are the possible intermediate hypothesis. Now say the machine is given with some 10 more days data. Then learning from that training examples, it will try to eliminate this hypothesis or all the hypotheses, so that your version space will contain only G4 and S4, the boundary set for general hypothesis and specific hypothesis. Means your candidate elimination algorithm, as it encounters the training examples, it is trying to make the version space thinner and thinner with lesser number of hypotheses that generalizes to all the training examples it has learned from. Okay. So the objective of this candidate elimination algorithm is to shrink the version space to arrive at more general hypothesis that is consistent with all the training examples given to the machine. Right? In the next class, the last concept of this module, inductive bias, that we are going to see. Now quickly tell me, what are the notations used for all these mentioned here? What is the notation used for general boundary set? Quickly. Student, what?
G.
G. Yesterday I have asked the other way of this question. I have given the notations and I asked them to tell what they are. Now I am giving the explanation and asking the notations so that you will become more familiar with this. Specific boundary set symbol?
S.
Very good. Version space?
VS.
VS.
That's all.
VS.
Yes. Version space is what? It is
H and D.
Very good. Version space is the set of all hypotheses H that is consistent with the training examples D. Okay, this is the notation. Instance set?
Capital X.
Capital X.
Very good.
Capital X.
Instance?
Small x, ma'am.
Hypothesis space?
Capital H.
Capital H.
Very good. Hypothesis?
Small h.
H, ma'am. Small h.
Very good. Training examples?
D.
So well you have answered. Very good. Now any doubt in this class? What concept we have covered? Any doubts you have, students? I don't say that you have to understand this concept in the first class itself, but I request you to go through the textbook that have been sent to you. Now I have explained you very clearly what is candidate elimination algorithm. Just it is a 10 or 15 minutes read for you in the textbook, and if you concentrate, you can easily understand what is explained today in the class. right? So all of you have to go through the textbook today for 15 minutes to understand this candidate elimination algorithm more better. And if you are still interested in the applications, you can go through the YouTube videos, just typing candidate elimination algorithm examples. You'll get nice videos to understand the concept more better. Okay? Shall we end the meeting? Okay, meet you in the next class.